My name is Denise Rotundo. I am the Dean of the McCall School of Business. I'm delighted to be here with you tonight. It is my great pleasure to welcome all of you to the Salvin Entrepreneurial Pitch Competition, where innovation meets opportunity and where ideas have the potential to become transformative businesses. This event represents the culmination of months of hard work, creativity, and entrepreneurial spirit from our talented students. And it is the second pitch competition supported by the generous gift from Bob and Susan Salvin, who inspired us to elevate the excitement and the reach of the competition. Today, you will witness the final step in a remarkable journey of our students. 23 aspiring entrepreneurs presented their ideas in a live preliminary round. From those, 4 finalists were selected to pitch tonight on this stage. What makes this competition special is not just the prize money at stake, but the comprehensive development experience it provides for the students. Students have the opportunity to engage with members of our prestigious entrepreneurial leadership circle, gaining insights about entrepreneurship from the successful experts themselves. They received personalized mentoring to better shape their business ideas and elevate their pitches to professional levels. And perhaps most importantly, this program helps create a powerful networking ecosystem, connecting our students with industry leaders who can help transform their concepts into viable businesses. The skills developed in this competition, critical thinking, problem solving, communication, and even teamwork, are invaluable regardless of the career paths our students ultimately choose. These are the competencies that distinguish leaders in today's business environment. To our judges for the final round today, you'll be introduced in a little bit by another one of our speakers. Thank you for your dedication of your time and expertise to evaluate these innovative ideas. Your feedback will no doubt be instrumental to these young entrepreneurs. To our students who are going to be pitching tonight, this competition is just the beginning. The connections you've made, the skills you've developed, and the confidence that you'll gain will serve you well beyond today's event. And I just want to say that you should all think of yourself as winners, because first of all, you know that you had to compete to get up here tonight. And I will tell you that there's so many of your colleagues and fellow students and those of us that can imagine ourselves back in your shoes that would have never had the confidence to do this. And for that, I just applaud you, and I just think you're all winners to begin before we even step on the stage here tonight. And finally, to Bob and Susan Salvin, I want to express our deepest gratitude for your extraordinary generosity. Your naming gift for this competition reflects your unwavering commitment to fostering innovation and entrepreneurship among our students. Your vision aligns perfectly with our mission to develop the next generation of business leaders who will shape our future economy. Bob Salvin himself is an Ernst & Young Entrepreneur of the Year award winner, an inductee in the Carolinas Entrepreneur Hall of Fame, that's a mouthful, and a member of the Queen's Board of Trustees. When he stepped forward to invest in and secure the future of the competition, the university formally renamed it the Salvin Entrepreneurial Pitch Competition to recognize his commitment and impact. With that, please join me in welcoming Mr. Bob Salvin to the stage. Thank you. You are so welcome.
I hate following Denise. She is so smart and so academic. Thank you, judges, for doing this. What a great audience. I know you came out to support your friends, and hopefully you will learn something here. I'm going to, for those that don't know my story, I started a company selling surgical instruments out of the trunk of a piece of crap used car. I evolved it into a global surgical instrument and regenerative biomaterial company out of Charlotte, and in 2023, I sold it to private equity. I'm going to tell you, based on my experience, without a doubt, with 100% certainty, your ability to formulate an idea, construct it into a pitch that people can understand, and be able to deliver it is the single most important and defining skill in your life, in your business life. And if you've been in business, you know that. I have bought a division of a public company with zero money out of my pocket based on my ability to pitch. I have gotten large companies in the orthopedic space to license technology to me in the dental space, beating out huge other public companies for this based on my ability to pitch. Now, it had to go with my ability to deliver it, but your ability to pitch is something that will last you forever. It is also the cheapest market research you can come up with, because if people say no, you figure out why, and then you change your pitch. You learn something every time you pitch something, and you get better and more succinct. And many times the person you're pitching to isn't your market, but the person standing behind him or her is. And they'll come up to you afterwards and say, I'm interested in your idea, but more importantly, and this is your ability to pitch, I'm interested in you. People are not buying your idea, they're buying your ability, their trust in you to deliver that promise. So I look forward to hearing these pitches. Thank you very much, and good luck to all of you.
See, now I got to follow Bob. No, I am not President Curitin, but I'm sure when they come in, let me know, and we'll give them some time here. So I'd like to welcome you. This is the 8th annual Queen's University Pitch Competition, and more importantly, the 2nd annual Salvin Pitch Competition. And Denise, I'd have to say, this is probably the most crowded I've seen this room. Yes, and this is fantastic to see all the support. I will tell you, this year we had 23 students apply, 16 individuals, and 3 teams. And we've narrowed it, after a lot of work, down to 4 finalists. So let me tell you a little bit about what they do prior to the pitch today. And I got to agree with Bob, the pitching, selling your idea is the most important thing, because they believe in the founder sometimes more than the idea, though the idea is certainly important. To prepare for the competition, there were 3 developmental sessions that they had to attend, led by members of the Entrepreneur Leadership Circle, which is part of the McCall School of Business. Feasibility, to help hone the idea, was Lewis Foreman. Is Lewis here today? I'm really happy about that, because he emceed the first 5 and he dresses so much better than I do. So I get to be, I'll have to give him a hard time about that later. And then financials, also a Queens grad, Cass Ward. Cass, are you here? But he does a great job shaping up the financial model, and you'll see some of that today. And then last but not least, the gentleman that runs Pitch Breakfast. If you've ever heard of it, go to pitchbreakfast.com. Once a month here in Charlotte. Juan Garzon hones their skills in pitching. And Juan, are you here yet? That's you sneaking in the back. I got you. So we'll hear a little bit from Juan later on too. So these sessions, and over time, helped hone their idea, their presentation to what you're seeing today. And we've narrowed it down to the final 4. So we're excited to award up to $5,000 in prize money to the winners. And here's the fun twist. The judges not only pick 1, 2, or 3, they decide how much position gets. So, if number 1 is really good, they could get all 5,000. So they're probably not going to do that. But they're going to decide how much money each position gets. Do you just find that out now? Am I the one? Okay. Well, you got a lot of extra work to do. And also, this is where it's so important to have you here in the room. We're going to do a People's Choice Award. So you get to vote for the pitch that you enjoy the most, and they will receive $500, regardless of where they place in the competition. So we'll have details about how to vote with that later with a QR code. Because I know we're in a college atmosphere. Everybody has their phone, right? So we're all set. And again, let me thank Bob for his generous sponsorship. We wouldn't be here today. I'd be out in the street shaking my cup, trying to raise sponsors again. So you made my life a whole lot easier. I think you gave me back the month of January and February every year, thanks to your donation. Finalists will pitch live before the panel of judges, who will evaluate each venture based on innovation, feasibility, market potential, and presentation quality. A Q&A session will also be part of the presentation and evaluation process. So, very important, the pitchers. You'll have 7 minutes to pitch, then you'll have 6 minutes of Q&A. And I asked for some advice about the pitch competition. They said, remember, a pitch is like a mini skirt. You want to cover the essentials, but you want to keep it short enough to keep it interesting. Okay, I see where the humor goes. It's a new level of excitement and engagement, and it's pressure for these young entrepreneurs, but hey, that's real life. So, first of all, I'd like to introduce our judges. First, I'd like to introduce Jennifer LeClaire, who's the CEO with Spire, Pay with Spire. And then next, we have a good friend of mine, Jose Alvarez, who's the Vice President of Prospero. Another guy I know very well, Michael Bork, was a Certified Business Performance Advisor with Insperity. And last but not least, Barrett Pack, who's a founder of a new AI company called Up, Up, Down, Down. Did I get that right? Yeah, good. And I could tell you, I've known 3 of the 4 for a long time, and I just met the 4th, that during the reception, these would be great people to talk to and understand their journey in the entrepreneurial world and the different parts of it they touch, from incubation, from services, to actually being founders themselves. So now we have time for the first contestant. I'd like to welcome to the stage Aiden Chambers, presenting For You newsletter.
Put it on. Thank you. Well, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I really appreciate everyone taking the time out of their busy schedules to come here on this beautiful afternoon. I'm very excited to present to you my app, For You newsletter. It is an AI-powered email newsletter that delivers only what you want when you want it. Now, to tell you a bit about myself as the founder, my name is Aiden Chambers. I'm a Division I athlete here at Queen's University on the men's lacrosse team, and I'm a junior majoring and pursuing a career in finance. I've had 4 different internships across finance, ranging from private wealth management, venture capital, commercial banking, and now private banking at Bank of America, which I'm super excited about for this upcoming summer. I first started my finance and business career as I spent my freshman summer studying out of Dartmouth's Tuck School of Business, being taught by Ivy League MBA professors, which gave me a huge head start in pursuing my career in business and finance. Then lastly, I wear the title Serial Entrepreneurial on my chest with immense pride. Ever since I was 18 years old, I've started 5 different entrepreneurial ventures. With my most successful, I was able to scale to $10,000 within the first 6 months of operation. Now, I'm hoping to disrupt the email newsletter marketing agency industry. The current problem is that there is no personalization across the entire industry. Some of the top competitors are Morning Brew and the New York Times. With Morning Brew, there is 0 personalization in their email newsletter. The data is completely outdated by the time many people read it. They deliver at 5:30 a.m. The very first portion of their email newsletter is all about the stock market. By the time many read it when they get into work, that data is outdated by the time the stock market opens. So for me, my solution for this problem is For You newsletter. Now, to tell you a little bit about For You newsletter, it is a fully personalized email newsletter catered to just what you want. You get to choose exactly what topics you want. You get to decide the newsletter length and frequency. And then lastly, my AI agent that I've already built and implemented will summarize and aggregate the most recent and relevant news data that you want. For You newsletter delivers only what you want when you want it. Now, to show you a little bit about what my MVP already looks like, I'll give you a quick walkthrough of the current user interface and user experience. So as you can see here, not only does For You newsletter work on the cell phone, but it also works on your computer. Here we can see the first step in customizing and personalizing your email newsletter is choosing your topics. Whether you're a stock market fanatic, you love sports, you want up-to-date news on politics, we have it for you. There is a topic for every single person. So for this user, they chose stock market, sports, as well as local weather forecasts. So next you go to topic details and priority. Not only do you get to choose your topic, but you also get to make it truly yours by giving your details. You're prompted here under stock market to type your details here. Focus on Apple, Tesla, stock earnings, whole market movers. You get to truly make this portion of your newsletter yours. The second topic chosen was sports. Now this user is a huge UGA football fan, as well as they love Queens men's lacrosse. So for their sports topic, they will only get the things they care most about. Next, you go to the delivery settings. You get to choose how long you want your newsletter to be. If you want it to be a quick update, 1 minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes, or even up to 10 minutes if you really want an in-depth briefing. As well as you get to choose the frequency. If you want this to come to your email inbox daily, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, just once a week, completely up to you. Next, you decide what time you want it. If you want it when you're getting into work, when you first wake up, when you're finishing lunch, or the end of the workday, it is up to you. Once you hit create newsletter, you can then view your newsletter not only in the app's dashboard, but it also instantly and accurately will send that email to your inbox every single time from your delivery frequency. Now, we've talked about what the product is, but now is there an actual demand for it? So to go over the market size currently and some of the top competitors, I briefly mentioned Morning Brew and the New York Times. Morning Brew has 4.5 million subscribers. Market Beat, which is a finance-focused email newsletter, 6 million subscribers. The New York Times has 17 million. Now the issue with these top competitors is there's zero personalization. All 6 million and 17 million subscribers get the exact same newsletter. That's not how it will be for You newsletter. Now, to tell you about kind of the demand for the product, 90% of Americans are subscribed to one or more email newsletters. That is roughly 220 million in the email newsletter market. Now, we've talked about the demand for it, what the product is, and judges, I bet you're wondering, oh my gosh, this probably is way too expensive to make happen. There is no way it's profitable. I'm very excited to show you. I have a graphic here that has 2 different types of users. A light user who gets 1 newsletter per week with only 3 topics at a 3-minute read, and then a heavy user, daily newsletter, 10-minute read, 6 topics. Now, you might say, wow, that's going to end up being a lot of money. The light user, less than 1 penny per month for that user. Now, the heavy user, this is going to be the tough one. It's going to be a lot of money. I'm excited to say it is less than half a dollar. So judges, the margins on this product are amazing. It is very profitable, and we're going to be able to make a lot of money as we continue to scale this. Now, plans to actually scale this product. First, I've already been able to build a completely working MVP. I have an AI agent that is built that writes the email newsletters, it aggregates all the data needed, and all the emailing output has all been finished. My hope is to be able to launch this on the web by the end of mid-April. Next, as soon as I'm able to launch that, I'm going to continue to get feedback from users and perfect the user interface and user experience and hopefully build to around 500 to 1,000 users. That then launches phase 2, where I will launch in the Apple iOS App Store, which is very exciting because then the marketing campaigns to scale this will be across 4 different social media platforms with Instagram, LinkedIn, TikTok, and Facebook. Now, many people that have pitched in the competition in the past have to ask for hundreds of thousands, tens of thousands of dollars. I'm very proud to say that I'm planning to stay a bootstrapped entrepreneur and be able to fund this entire venture from my past ventures myself. But judges, my ask for you is that you keep in mind, for this competition, every single dollar, every single penny that I hopefully earn from this competition will be reinvested right back into the company. I really appreciate you taking the time, and if you have any questions, I'm excited to show you all about You newsletter. Judges?
All right, first question. So Aiden, thank you very much. Compelling. I'm curious to understand where you're sourcing all the content, and is there a cost to acquire that content or legal restrictions around whose content you can pull? Because one of the most expensive parts of media is the actual creation of the content.
Entirely, yes. And I actually have a slide already prepared to answer that type of question. So this explains exactly how our back end works. how we get our data, how we turn that into an actual product for the viewer and user to see. So it starts with two different sources of information and data. It starts with an RSS feed and an API key. These are the main tools that I will be utilizing to get the data and information and relevant news to power these newsletters. The API keys have a certain cost per call for every single time you call them. And amazingly, they're very small. It's roughly 0.002 to fund these API keys and RSS feeds. So this breaks down the total expenses for 500 users and 15,000 users. You can see here API key usage. That is the main form that I will be getting the data to power these newsletters. At 500 users, it is only $30. At 15,000 users, it is $4,500. So despite the large increase in users, that profit margin is still amazing to get that data.
So along those same lines, the information that's coming in, how are you protecting your customers from, or I shouldn't say protecting your customers, how are the customers getting exactly what they want, not what you want to give them, and think political?
Love that question. And so I'll call back to the actual current user interface. So this is the two screens that allow you to truly make this For You newsletter yours only. You can make it anything you want. You can personalize it entirely. And then you briefly asked about data security. I also have prepared a snippet for you to see here. These are the different ways that we have already put measurements into place to protect every bit of security and data of the user to make sure their emails and passwords are not getting leaked. We're already using a third-party trusted source called Supabase, which handles all user authentication for us.
Thank you for your presentation, fantastic delivery. Have you gotten any feedback from potential customer, any customer discovery? Have you done any customer discovery?
Yes, so I've briefly mentioned I'm pursuing a career in finance. My entire sophomore year I spent networking with nearly 200 plus people. I've called back to many of them. I've reached out to roughly 100 people and been able to gather their feedback, their insights, what they think would work best for it, and I've already been able to implement all of that into my minimum viable product already.
Thank you.
Great presentation. I love the energy is fantastic. A question on the personalization. Can you segment it and have more newsletters come throughout the day? So maybe I want to start my day with stocks and I want to end my day with sports, and maybe I only want sports on the weekend. Are you able to personalize it to that level?
Yes, sir. Yeah, so the biggest thing is with For You newsletter, we have 3-tier subscriptions that the user can have. We have the basic free tier, which allows you to have one newsletter, but one delivery time, but you get up to 6 topics. Then we have the $4.99 per month minimum tier. That allows you to then have that second newsletter. So if you do want one to hit your email inbox and dashboard in the morning, you then have the ability to also get one in the afternoon or evening. And then lastly, we have our premium tier, which is $9.99 a month. That allows you to have unlimited newsletters, unlimited topics, unlimited amount of times for you to get your For You newsletter.
Perfect. That's great answer. One last question on the go-to-market strategy, and you look at your target profile. Can you talk a little bit more in more detail exactly who is that person that you're finding is going to be like the heavy user? How are you finding them? Is it like how expensive or cheap is that to reach them from a marketing advertising standpoint? But just curious who's going to be the $9.99 user that's going to be your heavy user?
The biggest thing is, from me personally, I see that anyone and everyone can find a use for this product. We can go back to the personalization page. You can see there's pretty much unlimited topics. You can choose from anything and everything. I briefly mentioned if you're into the stock market, if you're a sports fanatic, if you just want political updates, anyone and everyone has a usage for this. But to start, my plan is to mainly market through LinkedIn and then to finance professionals, because they're most looking for those up-to-date news, stock market, political updates. So for the original plans for influencer marketing, it'll be mainly working with financial professionals that have followings on LinkedIn, different social media platforms like Instagram as well.
Great. Thank you. Any other questions?
Yeah, one last question for you. So how long do you think this is a viable platform? How long do you think till someone is right behind you with the next version of it?
Can I add to that? Because I think that's a great question. And then, so if someone else comes out with a personalized newsletter or creates a an agent that can help them do, how do you differentiate?
The biggest thing is first mover advantage is what my mind goes instantly. I'm the very first person to create a newsletter personalization product, especially the first person to create the AI agent that I've been able to build to power the back end. Now, there are newsletters and news topics where you can aggregate data into one dashboard, but there is nothing like this product currently. Now, to answer your question, what happens when someone else comes in? My hope is that my marketing, my brand appeal, the personalization, the ease of use will all be able to continue to propel me forward despite having competitors in the market.
Those people that get about 5 newsletters every morning, The Hustle, Morning Brew, 1440, Elevator, and I think you left out, Morning Brew was just sold for $75 million about 5 years ago. So this is a real market to be able to do. I think a patent might be a good idea to protect yourself too going forward. Next up, got a hard act to follow, but I'm sure you're gonna be impressed with the next 3. Chloe and Kazi presenting International Cafe.
Good evening, everyone. Imagine if you could travel the world and experience its beauty right here in your very own city. My name is Chloe Nkazi, and I present to you the International Cafe. In a time where it's so expensive to travel, and we're so busy with our daily lives, from balancing school, work, and family responsibilities, and to add to that, an isolation culture that keeps many of us in our little bubbles, preventing us from fully experiencing the cultures that are right here in our very own city. We have the privilege of being in a nation that has so many people coming in. The culture is right here, where we are. That's why I created an international cafe, a globally inspired cafe that brings flavors and music from all around the world right here to your city in one singular cafe. We offer a unique experience. Every 3 months, our menu rotates to highlight a specific region. For instance, if we did East Africa, we'd pick countries like Uganda and Tanzania, we'd pick pastries, drinks, and add them to our menu. Along with that, we'll do the same thing for when we feature Asia or Latin America. And most of all, we also host events that allow our people to see this culture firsthand, such as art shows, dance classes, or even music-themed nights like reggae music or even salsa class. But we're more than just a business. We have a social mission. And our mission is to bring the culture here, but also create a bridge that bridges all these different cultures through food, the one thing that we all love. And that's why 10% of our profit goes towards international students, because they bring the culture here and they deserve to be supported. It's very expensive, they can't take out federal loans, so why not support them? And this matters because 77% of consumers are willing to buy from companies with a social brand. They actively choose these companies. This is a sample of our menu. So if you came in every day, we'd have something from like baklava from the Baltics, or like samosas from Asia, or maybe puff puff from Africa, coffee from different regions people haven't had a chance to try. This gives us a competitive advantage. Our unique structure allows people to come in expecting something different every 3 months. We're also a community-centered brand, so people are naturally drawn to who we are. In a city with over 50,000 college students, we're making our main target market students and young professionals. We are ranked top 10 in some of the most diverse cities in the country. We are also a city where 157 people move here on a daily. And that's why we're targeting culturally curious consumers, local cultural communities. Our customer acquisition strategy is to meet our customers where they are, on social media, in universities using campus ambassadors, our pop-up events, festivals, and partnerships with cultural organizations so people can experience our cafe and what we bring to the table firsthand. So we're starting as a food truck because opening a business is really expensive. So we chose to scale smaller, to lower our risks, and also maximize our profit, get the opportunity to go around and get the brand out there in the public. And then eventually, we'll launch our first cafe right here in Charlotte, and then expand it to different cities. With 50 customers a day, spending an average of $15, we have a clear, achievable revenue path, projecting up to $1.3 million in our 5th year. And we would need about $90,000 to open up our first venture, to fund things like equipment, marketing structure, or even hiring working capital. Our funding strategy currently involves grants, such as Charlotte Angel Fund, pitch competitions, and loans, so we can not only gain visibility, but also acquire the funding we need to start the business. In an increasingly technological world, we need ventures that bring people together, that remind us of our community, and that's why I made the International Cafe a place where the world comes together. Thank you.
First of all, thank you for the presentation. Great job. I love the concept. It's certainly a place I would love to visit someday. You kind of answered the first question I had, but I want to elaborate a little bit more on it.
Yes.
Opening up a cafe is a challenging thing, and you're taking a step backwards by starting with the food truck, right?
Yes.
Do you think you'll be able to get the concept out there with the food truck environment versus an actual cafe? Because my brain was literally going, I walk in this cafe, I got the smells, I got everything. Now I'm just walking up to a food truck. And then it's a matter of all the products that you want, all those different bakeries and everything like that. That's a lot of expertise. It's a lot of, all that type of stuff. So it's the employees that you're gonna need as well. So maybe just talk a little bit about that.
Okay, so initially for the events, we're going to start with go to local packs, attend events on college campuses, find a way to host it where we're able to. We could do something like a dance class out in the open so people can come by and join us. And we could also go to festivals, so we'll meet the people where they are, and we'll also attend pop-up events just in the very beginning, and then when we eventually launch it, we'll scale bigger. As for the sourcing, we're going to partner with international sourcing grants that are right here to make sure everything we bring in is authentic. The chefs that we'll be making the pastries, we'll get training to make sure everything they're making is authentic. We'll partner with bakeries that are already here, coffee shops that are already here, ask them if we're making it authentic enough, if everything we're putting in actually represents those cultures.
One of your key components in the presentation is offering a rotating menu, correct? That could be a little complicated in the food industry. So what have you thought about that process?
So what we're going to do is we'll have a set menu. Every day we'll have something set. But every 3 months, when we pick a region we're going to explore, we'll add 3 or 4 items from that region to our menu. So technically, the customers get the same thing, but when they come in, they have a special option of all these different places. And our events those 3 months would just be tailored around the region we're exploring.
Thank you.
So first of all, I'm getting very hungry, and I love the innovation around this idea. I think my question is just around the price point, because I think you're hearing this from the other judges. This is complicated, and usually things in business that are complicated are very expensive. So thinking about sourcing all these products from different countries, sourcing the chefs, the expertise you need, all of the physical capital that you're going to need to create the ambiance and the events, it's a lot. And then your price point is $15. I can barely get a Starbucks for $12 these days. So I just think, tell me the thought process around your pricing.
So for our pricing, we're trying to make it as affordable as we can, honestly, at least in the very beginning. But for sourcing the materials and the concepts, we're going to go to like as cheap as we can go. Where can we get for cheap? Where are people getting it currently? We're going to use the already partnerships that are already here. Where can we buy from local vendors? Can we buy from local market grounds? Can we buy from all these international places that are here, like the internationals? Where can we get this as cheap as we can possibly go, but also not oversell it to our customers?
One, I love your calm energy and demeanor. It makes me feel like I'm in the cafe, and if that gives a feeling of what it would be like, I'm there for sure. I've got a couple questions. One, I'm curious, have you thought about where you would want your first location in Charlotte to be?
Yes, so we're thinking like university area, because there's so many people there, so many students, so many business areas around there, just because we can get more market there. So our first location will be going to be around university area.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
I think it's interesting every time you come, each 3 months when it's a new kind of menu, I think there's obviously a ton of opportunities with whether it's new marketing campaigns, but I think there's also, some potential challenges to make sure that from a communication standpoint, people understand what's happened. Because if some people don't understand it when they come into the cafe the first time and then they come back the next time and it's a completely different country, do you have like a communication plan for when those new, every 3 months, when you have those kind of new items come out, and then when people are in the cafe, is there, what would be the communication plan to make sure people understand kind of what's going to happen next time they come back?
So social media is a big one. We're going to make sure all the social media updates are up to date at least a month before we launch the next 3 months. We already have the campaign running. We already have the next 3 months. We're going to look at Asian countries. We already have polling systems going on. What country would you like us to add? What country would you like us to add? So the customers are actively involved in what we're picking, and they're also getting a feel of where we're going next. When they come in for the food truck at first, we'll have it at the very entrance to show them, like, next 3 months, we're going to have this on. Next 3 months, we're going to add this on. So they come in knowing, like, when I come back again, it's going to be different.
What kind of influencers in Charlotte would be good representatives for the company to partner with, or are there any that would be helpful? Have you looked at those?
To be honest, I don't really know that many like influencers.
Yeah, I don't either. I'm just curious. I feel like that would be a pretty good on the marketing front. $5,000 is not a ton in marketing when you're trying to go out to consumers. So
Yeah.
those could be a way to kind of get some additional volume and get their fans and
Yes, I will look
connections
into
in.
it as well. I'll reach out to influencers when we start this, I will reach out to influencers that are within the area, especially like young influencers, so they can get it out there. We are going to explore that when the time does come.
Sure.
Yes.
Anyone?
Our daughter advertised on TikTok because she's an adventurous eater, and the strangest thing I've ever eaten is mofongo from an Ethiopian restaurant, but that's just one of many that she comes up crazy ideas. So next up, we've got a team presenting, Ty Schreck and Zach Miller with Reckless.
Moses.
Yeah. All right, thank you all for coming out. My name is Zach,
I'm Ty.
and we want to introduce you guys to Reckless, our spin on building community through sport.
First off, we're going to go through the problem.
58% of adults want to play sports but don't, and this is due to many barriers. And there's also 3 times more platforms than necessary. These websites might be complicated. You don't know if it's for corporate sports, a corporate league, or a competitive league where you're actually really trying to win. And then from our customer discovery, we've discovered 80% say attendance is critical to their experience, and 50% cite low turnout as their biggest challenge. And I kind of have a personal story. Every summer when I go home, I get asked to fill in for these different men's leagues or recs. And I show up, and it doesn't seem like it's the biggest world that someone misses and there's not enough numbers to fully play a real lacrosse game or a basketball game. That's kind of where Reckless comes in, and we're hoping to change that.
Just like Ty said, that's where Reckless comes in. We want to be the home for adult rec sports. We want to bring Saturday night fun to Tuesday night rec league. We want to be able to give access to every sport in every city and give people every reason to show up and keep showing up. We came up with a quick and simple 4-step process of how it works. We call it our game plan to keep the athletic model going. First, people just go online, sign up. It's super easy to use. And then step 2, you just show up, you play the game. Everything else is organized by our Reckless staff. And then step 3, you earn the perk for showing up. And that's kind of where the bar partnerships come in as well, which Ty will talk about in a second. But essentially, that's where the partnership goes in.
So here's the pub partnership. First off, I'll explain what the bar gets. We're thinking 15 to 30 guaranteed minimum customers every single game night, and we like to say, rain or shine, Reckless players are gonna dine. We're also thinking they're gonna get that weeknight revenue boost. You show up to a bar or a pub on a Tuesday or a Wednesday night, there's really never that much people there. This is where we're thinking we'll get those teams to show up, and they're gonna be active spenders. Now we're also hoping with the patches on the jersey, just the league and the bar connecting, that there's gonna be that built loyalty, and it won't just be a Tuesday night thing. Maybe on a Saturday afternoon, they're gonna wanna bring themselves and their friends out. To go over to the economics, we've been working with Jim Foster, the owner of Salvin Pub, and our best approach that we could come up with was with the bar, sponsors the jerseys, and the appetizers cost, and then the rest is kind of on the customer. And we're thinking the bar return on investment is gonna be 4 to 6 times that amount that they put in.
So here's a little bit more on how we make money. We're looking to have 3 separate revenue streams, the third one being kind of a little bit more down the line once we've scaled. For stream 1, obviously it's player registration. We've done some customer discovery, as Ty mentioned, and most people said that they would be willing to pay between $150 and $250 for something like this, so we wanted to start off with the lower end of that and then kind of scale up and see how players react after the first league. Stream number 2 of income would be merchandise revenue. We want to do some co-branded stuff with the pubs that we're partnering with. And yeah, I mean, you can see one of the examples there of what it would look like. It gives pubs kind of some free advertisement if they're walking around, both for us and the pubs as well. And then stream number 3 would be some separate sponsorships for local businesses. We're hoping to kind of immerse some championship weekends, stuff like that, once we move it a little bit farther down the line and get more players. And then as well as our app creation and some more ad spaces on there. Here are our growth projections. We want to do a pretty simple explanation for year 1, year 2, year 5. Just to go through it, we want to get 100 players for year 1 in 1 sport, 1 city, with 1 season. And then for year 2, we want to reach 500 players in 1 city with 2 separate seasons, because obviously in the South, like, it's always nice. So, and then year 5, we want to reach 10 separate sports in 5 cities with 2 separate seasons. And as you can see for the bottom, that's what the revenue would look like.
Why us? We both believe, actually all 3 of us, we all believe, why not us? We're 3 Division I lacrosse players. We're staring graduation right in the face, and we need somewhere to play. We don't know if it's going to be competitive enough if we go. We don't know if there's going to be numbers. So not only do we research this problem, we're living it right now.
So you might be asking yourselves why there's only 2 of us up here. I'm the Chief Executive Officer, he's the Chief Operating Officer, and Michael White is our Chief Information Officer, and he's not up here because he's got a face for radio, so.
And then, to go more on that, we're just thinking, we're athletes, we know what makes competition meaningful, we know why people show up, and we know that it's more than just a sport, and we know it's community-based. So that's kind of where that pub idea comes in. And then we're also network ready. As you can see, we have the stands, and that's only just the start. We know we have pretty much a built-in first league just from our team and just our alumni in the area and the way we can network out. And then we've also already tested the model and got our first yes for the first season with Salvin Pub. So, pretty excited. And then the ask, we're asking $5,000, and every dollar of this is going directly back in the league, whether it's to book a field, a court, whether it's to find more bars and pubs, and whether it is to order jerseys or merchandise, it's going all back in, and we're thinking $5,000 in, $18,500 back. That's our bet.
Coming summer 2026, stay reckless.
All right, great job, guys. It's an interesting one because honestly, you're both college students and you're dealing with an issue I dealt with 30 years ago. What you're wanting to do here is actually kind of being done, but you're formalizing it, you're digitizing it and all that. So I think it's a good model. I like it. My question is, you mentioned it's for adults, right? And then you also mentioned you're going to book the field, you're going to do all that type of stuff, right? That's a lot of admin work. It's a lot of organizing. That's field time and space. Everything is really challenging unless you commit to it in advance and all that type of stuff in this area. Have you thought all that through? What's that kind of look like?
Yes, sir. Actually, I've had some pretty extensive experience kind of dealing with different leagues and stuff like that. Where I'm from Montreal, Quebec. There wasn't much lacrosse growing up for me, and then as I kind of grew up, I got more involved because everyone needed to get involved if we wanted to grow the sport. So I do have some experience in that, and I think that will help. But I think to start off, obviously, with our first season, it'll be just us three, and we'll kind of be doing all of it. But as we look to scale and kind of find other ways to make money and stuff like that, we're going to obviously hire people, and I think the best way to do it for us would be to hire college students just in the same boat as everyone else in this room. I know I've always been looking for work when I've been just here for the past 4 years, so I think that would be probably the best way to go about it.
Thank you guys for your presentation. I love your entrepreneurial spirit. This question has to do with marketing. Have you gotten any feedback about the name? I mean, this is a business model that involves Irish pubs, alcohol, and the name is Reckless.
Yes, sir. Actually, we So we do have a slide that kind of covers marketing. We didn't really want to go over time, so. But our idea is that we want to just start small, use the first league as a way to promote on social media. Everyone's there at every game. And then we want to scale through digital growth, obviously use some Instagram, Facebook, Snapchat ads, stuff like that in the area, and then kind of institutionalize and kind of create a city manager model where people can possibly buy franchises in different cities. And then as well as that, we're looking at an option where also in our customer discovery, we had about 95% of people say that when they're looking to find a rec sports league to join, it's mostly through friends. So we're looking to implement a 25% discount if you refer a friend. And obviously, if you refer a friend, he's going to want to refer another friend. And then I feel like that's where we're going to get most of our growth from.
Yeah, and I would say to build on that, I think our idea is to have fun. I know Reckless might get a little too crazy with the things involved, but we want it to be fun. I want to go play a sport when I'm out of college, and I want to have fun after, obviously, not too much though. So I think our idea is want to be reckless.
I love all the sayings and slogans. Those are pretty fun. It's funny, I took Reckless different. I'm thinking it's reckless for me to go play sports right now because I'm going to get injured. You guys will be fine. I'm curious on when you're talking about you're coming back and there's not a spot to fill, you're looking for a sport. Are you guys joining with other rec leagues? Are you starting your own this is a new, fresh rec league?
I would say our head's not fully set on one, but for this first league that Mr. Foster is helping us out with, it's going to be our own league, and we're leaning towards co-ed softball. We have a few more conversations, but that's kind of what he has encouraged us to do, and we're thinking one league, 10 teams, co-ed softball, and that's kind of how we're going to start it, and then obviously learn and go from there.
Okay, yeah, because I was curious if you were working with like the local Parks and Rec to figure out like, could you like join forces so that you're not having to start straight from scratch? I didn't know if you guys had explored that. It sounds like maybe you have, and I'm sure you're shaking your head.
Yeah, well, just a little bit on the background of why we decided to do this was that one of my buddies back home started his own run club and like scaled it to like, I think they have like 20,000 followers on Instagram and stuff like that. And after every single one, they have a huge social event. They've gotten Lululemon and a bunch of other huge companies to come out there and kind of sponsor those events for them as well. And we wanted to bring the social aspect of the run club and like the networking and like just making friends and just being together, and then bring it to sports, because obviously like running, I play a running sport and I would never run for fun, so. But yeah, I guess that's kind of.
Yeah, no, that answers it. I know you have a question. One last one, because I'm pretty curious about this. If you're creating like a social community, are people get to choose what teams they're on, or is there like a tryout and then they get placed on teams?
Yeah, we kind of created our own version of what the website's going to look like.
I'll press play.
Yeah. But basically how it works is you kind of just scroll in. You can either create your own league, and you have to have like minimum of 10 people in it for you to actually join it. And then it goes public once you made it public, and then you can kind of just scroll through, you choose your team. You can keep a team closed if you want to, until your whole team's together, like if you want to be just with friends and stuff like that. And then obviously everyone, after the games, both teams are going to the same pub as well, so it's kind of a way to build that community a little bit more.
So a question for your COO and then your CEO. How do you make sure that the right people sign up and show up? I'm just like, adult is a very wide range of population. I'm just looking at us like, I don't think you want us showing up to your lacrosse team. Maybe. You don't want me. How do you make sure that you get the quality so that the game is actually safe and fun from the athlete perspective?
Yeah, I don't know if you caught the little detail, but there is always like a level to the sport, intermediate, advanced. I don't know if it would be smart to put like an age range, but I think in the first league, we're definitely, I'm sorry, but we're not targeting you guys. We're targeting like more so like just fresh out of college.
I don't know what that means, you're not targeting us.
Yeah, but.
Yeah.
You can come afterwards.
Yeah, but I think it's going to be, just in this first league, we're definitely going to target just more fresh out of college and younger, but our dream is everybody. I mean, there's no like one group it has to be. Just,
Okay.
And kind of to that point, like we want to make it accessible for everyone, so there is an option for you to create your own league with, if you want to play, there's a master's version of lacrosse where you don't wear equipment, and it's just like my dad plays it. So
I'm getting really good at ping pong, just an idea.
we can do ping pong.
So for the CEO, why wouldn't you have Salvin Pub participate in your revenue stream? Because you're going to be bringing business to them. People are wearing their clothes. I mean, and they've got a much deeper pockets than probably your athletes.
100%, yeah. So we actually sat down for a couple hours with Jim to kind of talk this through, because at first we had a flat fee for bars and they were paying us. And then he was like, well, no one's going to pay $500 a month for, and so we kind of had to go back to the drawing board. We sat with him a little bit more, we talked, and he mentioned that he would be willing to jump in on this with us for the first league, and he would pay for the jerseys and he'd pay for the free appetizers at the bar afterwards just to get everyone there.
Thinking for Selwyn, I'm thinking in general, if you're bringing all this business to your pub partners, they should participate in.
Yeah, and I think
economics.
once we have the results and we have people that are going in there and being the active spenders, that's where we can come in with like a better approach, because when we're kind of a little not that confident with Jim and kind of just letting him lead the direction of it, I would say. And if we go forward and have that on our resume, I guess, then it'll be a lot better in how we can approach it and talk to them.
Thank you.
I remember when I moved to Charlotte in 1994, there was something called the Charlotte Sport and Social League. that did all this without computers or phones, that you would show up and you'd play volleyball or softball. So I know the guys that started that, so I can make an introduction for you and tell you how they grew it. Last, but definitely not least, and then we're going to ask for your People's Choice vote afterwards. Next up, we have Sam McKee presenting Safe Start Swim.
Test, is it on? Can you hear me? Yes. Okay, perfect, awesome. Yeah, start from the top, that's all right, there you go. Present. Awesome, okay, perfect. Good evening, everyone. My name is Samantha McKee, and I want to begin today by sharing a story with you that's really near and dear to my heart. This is Annabelle. She's 4 years old. She grew up across the street from me back home. She's a bundle of joy. She's got that kind of laugh that can make everyone in this room smile. And one summer, her family went camping at this nearby lake site, and that day, the wind happened to be just picked up a little bit, and the current got to be just a little bit stronger than usual. And in a moment, when nobody noticed, Annabelle slipped into the water and drowned. And sadly, she is no longer with us today. But the most heartbreaking part about this entire story is that it is not uncommon. Drowning is the leading cause of death for children ages 0 to 4. It is the second leading cause of death for children ages 5 to 12. On top of that, 8,000 non-fatal drownings occur yearly. That's 22 children who drown every single day. Now, we cannot eliminate the kids from the water, but what we can do is equip them with better skills to survive it. And that is why I created Safe Start Swim, where our mission is simple. The goal is life. Safe Start Swim is a standardized survival-first education system. What this means is we teach your child the proper needs to swim and safety skills in any body of water. Everything that we teach is backed up from evidence from national organizations. We teach what works. And we don't just teach our children how to swim. We also train our instructors through a certification system. We select them based on those who align with our mission. We then train them through a structured program, evaluate them in real-life teaching situations, and then they're certified to deliver our curriculum. Because consistency is key. Because how we work is through a pop-up clinic model. Rather than buying really big facilities, we rent facilities and partner with them. We host 4-week clinics for the price of $349.99 for one children. And to get our customers, and our customer acquisition strategy is to go where the families are. We partner with schools and daycares. We also host in communities pop-up clinics where we advocate for this issue of water safety, and we teach people about specific survival skills. Now, let's take a step back and look at what's already out there. As you can see, in our overall swim lessons, there are 2 major priorities: technique and survival. And then on our y-axis here, I have highly structured programs and lowly structured programs. Your local YMCAs, your private instructors, they do a great job teaching your children how to swim freestyle technique or to dive into a pool. Technique is their goal, but it is not survival. And when we look at the survival side, we see very limited lowly structured options. There's only one competitor, and they're ISR, which is Infant Swimming Resource. Side by side to Safe Start Swim, there's many, many differences. The biggest one, though, is the methodology. ISR uses a method called the fight or flight method. What they do is they take, for example, a 6-month-old infant, put the infant in the water, and hoping to activate its fight or flight response, hoping it swims. This can be really stressful and even traumatizing for the parent and the child. What Safe Start Swim does is we nurture our children. What we do is we make them feel confident in the water, and our goal is for them to feel safe. Let's take an even further step back, though. What do parents actually want? So we went directly to them. We asked over 100 parents. We found out is on average, 9.1 out of 10 is what their average ranking is for their child's concern on water safety. 76% also claim that when they're looking for swim lessons, survival skills is their #1 priority. And then 84% also prioritize safety over stroke technique. And the biggest barrier that parents are having is accessibility. They don't know how to access this. Behind each and every one of these numbers, though, is a real parent. And here's what they're saying. Nothing matters more to me than keeping my kids safe. And I don't feel like our local lessons really teach that. It shouldn't be this hard to find swim lessons that actually teach my kid how to be safe. They're frustrated. They know what they want, but they can't access it. And when they do, this is what we hear. My kids are more confident in the water, but more importantly, I know they have the skills to keep themselves safe, and that peace of mind is everything. This is a quote from a parent whose children I have taught using these Safe Start Swim principles. This is what we deliver, and the opportunity to deliver it is massive. Over 21 million children in America do not have the proper skills to survive in any body of water. Of that, we could possibly reach 8 million through our pop-up clinic and partnership model. But even reaching just 1% equips thousands of children with safer survival skills. How we get there is as easy as crawl, walk, run. Year 1, we pilot our clinics, we learn and perfect them. Year 2, we expand to multiple locations, and we partner. And then in year 3, when we scale nationwide, we make Safe Start Swim known. What this looks like revenue-wise is in year 1, with reaching 500 swimmers, our revenue is $175,000. In year 2, when we reach 2,000 students, we're at $700,000 in revenue. And year 3, once we scale and we're at 3,500 students, we're at $1.2 million in revenue. We also start out with a 37% contribution margin, but as we scale, that also improves. So, who are you investing in? You're investing in me. As a Division I collegiate swimmer, I have the resources and the network to bring this to life. I've also been a coach and swim instructor for over 6 years, and I firsthand have seen the gap between survival skills and recreational swimming. This isn't just an idea that I'm bringing to you today. This is something I've already built, and I'm ready to take it to scale. And to get there, I'm asking for $75,000 in investment. And what this money would do is will help us secure our first pilot location, establish our instructor pipeline, and start reaching families who need this the most. So, who's ready to save lives with me? Thank you. Thank you.
First of all, great job.
Thank you.
Love the passion. If this doesn't work out for you, you need to be a speaker for some country somewhere. You're really, really good at that.
Thank you.
My question is along the lines of your workforce. Okay, the instructor pipeline, I think you referred to it as, right? How are they going to have that same passion as you? How are they going to show up and make the parents comfortable? Because I'll be honest with you, I am a parent of 3 daughters. I bought a house with a pool before one of my children could swim, and I had someone come to the house, and it was a horrible experience. So I love what you're doing, I really do.
Thank you.
But how do you portray that down the line so that every instructor has that same passion and skill set and all that you have?
Great question. So actually, let me take you through our certification program. We have a 3-step process. So like I said, we select them. It goes through a screening process where we interview them. But the biggest thing here is we do a swim competency test. So what we see is before we even train them to do anything, we make sure that they're comfortable in the water. Because what I have found is that when the instructor is calm, the child is calm. So that is like our #1 priority before we even train them. Then they go through a 15-hour training program with us. This includes going over our philosophy so that they have the same mission as us, so that they know what we are doing. Next, we do our different teaching methods, and everything is structured on a program, and they are basically given everything that they need to do and know. And then there's a lesson structure that we go through, so we take them through what each lesson looks like, and then they do an assessment on everything that they learned so that everything is in their brain and they have to actually test it. And then we do shadowing lessons. They have to shadow, then co-teach, and then they have under supervision lessons. So that's to maintain the consistency, because that is our hardest thing, actually. That's our biggest risk, is maintaining the consistency. So through doing an instructor certification program where they're CPR certified, where they've gone through in and out of pool training, they are consistent with quality.
What about the compensation for these instructors? How are they compensated?
They're paid $25 an hour. So each instructor, so what we do is we run a 4-week program. So what that is, it's $1,200 for one instructor per one clinic. So we have a 4-to-1 student ratio. So once we start, we're going to have 2 instructors, to be a cost of $2,400 for us.
Thank you.
I agree. I mean, fantastic delivery,
Thank you.
great pronunciation and presentation. So kudos.
Thank you.
You are aware that you're selling this to the parents, right?
Absolutely.
So in your interview process, how many do you talk to? Do you interview?
Parents?
Parents, yes.
So we surveyed over about 120, so over 100, and I talked to 30 to 50 parents. It was about that number. So I actually like talked face to face, but I got like interview feedback from.
Did you get anything about price points? I mean, how much they could afford?
Yeah, absolutely. So what we found too is that they actually prioritize safety over cost. So cost really isn't a concern to them. And so when I show you our price point here here we go. Safe Start, we are $349 for a 4-week clinic. Compared to our competitors, that's almost right in the middle based on quality. So your local YMCAs can range from $180 to $350. Swim schools are $350 plus, and that's teaching your child technique and stroke. And then private lessons can be $400 and up. Those are the most expensive. So we're right in the middle, but we found that parents' cost, of course, is a factor, but it's not the #1 priority.
And you actually share that number with them?
Yes.
And what do you, I mean, they said, fantastic.
They said, take my credit card. Where's your thing? Here, take my card, yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
I'm going to mirror what they said on the presentation. I mean, I loved but didn't love the opening, right? It's a tearjerker, but it was very powerful. And then the way you crafted the story throughout the presentation was fantastic. So kudos, that was amazing. I need a little more understanding, like what's happening at the pop-up clinics? Where are these swim instructions happening? And if you said it, I missed it.
It's okay.
But are you opening a location, or is it? I just wasn't sure how that part was happening.
So basically what we do is we rent pools. And so a lot of pools do this in communities. You can rent them for the top max price that we have priced everything at is $100 per hour. That's how much like a pool would cost at the maximum to rent for 1 hour. So I've reached out to multiple communities. Actually at Queens, they have allowed us to start it here, but also Eastway Regional Recreational Center. So what we would do, this is like a community center in Charlotte who I've reached out to. So what we would do is basically host it here. 4 times a week would be here, and we'd just kind of pop up for 4 weeks, and then we'd either continue at that location or do another one so that we can just continue to access as many children as possible.
Gotcha, great answer, because I'm thinking pop-up clinics and you're talking about the daycares and stuff. I'm going, what are you putting pools in?
Oh yeah, no, so it'd be
My brain was
like this, yeah.
Okay, that makes sense. Okay, that's fantastic.
Thank you so much. It really resonates, having raised 3 daughters. So
Absolutely.
thank you. I could have been one of those parents in your quotes. My question is, if your mission, and you sound very mission-based, it doesn't seem like this is all about driving a profit, is there a better way to scale it by training YMCAs and businesses that are already in this business and teaching them to add this to their program as opposed to starting something from scratch? Or maybe you do both.
That's actually the eventual key to do in years, like our 5-year plan pretty much. What we are hoping is that YMCAs will do this so that it becomes more accessible, because they should all do survival skills, right? But they still don't have the quality, the experience, and the consistency that Safe Start Swim will have. So it makes sense to start something like this, become known, advocate for this problem, and then it be established in other programs.
So you could sell the certification to the YMCA.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, great. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you. Any other questions? No? Thank you guys so much. Appreciate your time.
You know, I know most of you are in college, but I remember one of the most terrifying moments of my life. We finally found a place like this, and they take your infant baby, he's like 3 or 4 months old, and throw it in the water. And they tell the parents just to leave. So the judges, hey, if you're gone more than 5 minutes, I get to tell bad jokes, and they're going to be about you. So we'll be right back. So, and I would tell you what, we had to search everywhere to find, and we finally went to the Charmex Swim Center to do this infant swimming for safety. So it's a great idea. So we've got some time to kill. First up, we're going to vote for the People's Choice Award. Do we have the QR code? There you go. Everybody get to that? Give you just a second to pull that up. And I want to welcome to the stage Juan Garzon. He's going to talk about a couple upcoming events that we have in Charlotte and some things that he does. So, Juan Garzon.
All right, good evening, everybody, and great job. Let's give a big round of applause to all the companies that pitched tonight. Yeah, so I am the executive director of an organization here called Innovate Charlotte. We support the tech and innovation-based entrepreneurial ecosystem throughout the greater Charlotte area. And one of the things that we do is we host an event called Pitch Breakfast, where every month we invite 3 companies to give their investor pitch to a panel of investors and then get feedback from those investors and connections to other resources. So we've had a chance to see some, I think it was 800 pitches by now. We've been doing this for 13 years. And seriously, those are some really amazing pitches. So great job to all of the student companies that pitched here today. So some of the things that I wanted to share with you while we're killing time before the judges get back here are some of the resources that exist out in the Charlotte community to help entrepreneurs and budding entrepreneurs like yourselves. I mentioned the event Pitch Breakfast, which is an event that is open to the public. So on the second Wednesday of every month, if you're interested, you can come and join us. You can, it's free breakfast. You get to connect with other entrepreneurs and with investors, and you get to watch these presentations that these entrepreneurs are giving to those investors, and then also hearing the feedback and the resources and the guidance that the investors are providing. Now, if you have your own company and you get to that point where you have some traction and you'd like to pitch at a Pitch Breakfast, you can do that as well. You just go to the Pitch Breakfast website, pitchbreakfast.com, click on Apply, send us your information, and we'll get you into that rotation. So there are resources and events like that happening all the time in this city. We want to make sure, especially for those of you that are going to be staying in the Charlotte area, that you're aware of these resources and are able to take advantage of them. Another one is a newsletter that we publish every 2 weeks called the Ecosystem Essentials. And in that newsletter, we will share all of the different programs, resources, and events that are happening in the startup community that might be of interest. We're going to have some events and programs around customer discovery, including our Customer Discovery Labs, which is a 7-week customer discovery program that we're actually taking applications for right now. We also host these things called Founder Jams, which are one-day boot camps focused on different founder topics, including our Product Jam, which is a one-day boot camp focused on product development, and Growth Jam, which is focused on go-to-market. And we're currently developing a third, Sales Jam, which really helps you get to that important first customer aspect of growing a business. So there are a lot of things like this as well, different accelerators and programs that can help you grow your business if this is something that you want to pursue. In addition to that, we host events that are open to the community, including Founders and Funders Happy Hours, where you get to meet and speak to investors and get to hear what they're doing, and also some opportunities where you can hear investors or entrepreneurs speak, such as our Tech Leaders Forum and some of our Founder and Funder events. So lots going out there in the community and in the ecosystem that would be of interest. There are other organizations that are also playing a part here that you may want to be familiar with. If you are a female founder or interested in starting a business, there's a group called the Growing Women's Entrepreneurship Network, GWEN, that meets regularly and engages with women who are interested in tech and entrepreneurship. If you're interested in healthcare and health tech, there are a lot of new programs happening at the Pearl Innovation District uptown with groups like Kind Health and the new G-Beta Charlotte Health Accelerator. Again, all of these things, as they come up, you will learn about if you're on that newsletter at innovatecharlotte.org. And then one of the big things that we want to let everybody know about is the Seed the South Capital Summit. This is Charlotte's annual venture capital conference, where we're going to have venture capital and investors from all across the country flying into Charlotte to see some of the best in terms of growth stage companies and seed stage companies that are up and coming. This year's Seed the South Capital Summit is going to be at Bank of America Stadium, so we're very excited about having it out there. We're going to have 2 days, which include master classes and receptions and speakers happening there at the stadium. We have the annual Big Pitch, where 10 companies are selected to give a pitch, and then 2 of them will walk away with $50,000 investment checks through our Big Pitch investment process. And then we will have an after party out on the field, on the 50-yard line at Bank of America Stadium, where we're going to invite everybody to sort of celebrate the close of the conference. And the winner of tonight's pitch competition is going to be invited to join us at the Seed the South Capital Summit to get to learn from those growth stage companies and meet with those investors. So we're excited to have one of you guys join us there. And with that, there are lots of other programs, events, and resources that are happening out there. So please follow Innovate Charlotte. Let me know if I can ever be of help as these companies grow. And I don't know if they're going to want me to keep talking or hear Keith's jokes here, but that's all I've got. So thank you all so much, and best of luck to all of the companies.
Well, I appreciate that. One thing that, Bob didn't explain earlier is being an entrepreneur is very much like a roller coaster. Mainly just the screaming for the first 3 years or so, right? And isn't it ironic that we're doing the pitch competition during the first week of baseball? Pitch, baseball, get it? Was that off base? Should I take another swing at it? That's why we want the judges to come back out, right? So. While we've got some folks here, anybody else have any fun announcements about sports, going-ons at Queens? Any news on the merger with Elon yet? Anything good? We've got a past president here. Maybe she can chime in. Things are going good? That's fantastic. That's awesome. Good stuff. I mean, the jokes only get worse from here if you guys don't decide to talk. So, Greg, I know you've got something to say. You got nothing to say, right? Well, the good news at the reception, if they have wine this year, most of the people in this room can't drink. So that's more for us, right? So that'll be good. Hey, Oscar, you want to go check on them or Figa? I know I'm supposed to call you Figa, but I still call you Oscar every now and then. So, who's the one of the newest members of the Charlotte 40 over 40 club? Yes, sir, I am. Yeah, I didn't think you were 40, so that's great. People didn't know that either. Yeah. Juan, you're over 40, right? We need to get you up for that. Well, they told me last time when I was named, there's not an upper limit, so there's no upper limit.
Can you read that?
Yes. Okay.
And I have the check up here. This is the check for this one, okay?
Okay.
All right.
Sounds good. All right, so we have exciting stuff. We have money to give away. That's very important. And what do you want? You want People's Choice first or last? What do you think? First? Yeah, you want to see the results of the work that you guys did. So we had over 130 votes, and I can tell you the People's Choice Award went to Reckless for $500. And I love that response, but I can tell you the voting was a little closer than that sound was, which is fantastic. So we'll start from the bottom. So our judges decided to share the wealth among our 4 teams. So in 4th place, with a check for $500, International Cafe. Can you come up? You need your picture taken with the legendary Bob Salvin, so.
There's a crisp $2 bill.
Afterwards too. So in 3rd place, with a prize of $500, For You newsletter.
Your idea of your presentation is great, and that's worth $2.
Unfortunately, with tariffs, that's half a cup of coffee these days. So there's no point in announcing the second place because everybody knows who first is, so I'm going to try to do it at the same time. But I can tell you that second place was awarded $1,000 from our judges. That means first place takes home $3,000 and probably an unlimited number of $2 bills. We'll find out what Tom has left here. So I'll announce both of them. In second place, we had Reckless, which means safe swim, is our winner. Congrats. Good stuff. Good work. Thanks.
Here's a $2 bill for each of you. Those are consecutively numbered. 2 of them are real.
Do you make them yourself? Those are fantastic.
I am thrilled to do this because I know Sam and you've been to our home. When you did your presentation for the semifinals, I asked you, what did you do to Sam McKee? This was the most professional presentation I've ever seen you do. Your idea was great. You presented with enthusiasm. There may be people who have a different idea of how to implement it, but they're going to bet on you, Sam. You did a great kind of
Yeah, we need a picture with Reckless, too.
Okay, you can take a bigger picture.
All right, so while we're doing that, if you finalists can stay up here, I think we're going to get some formal pictures. Everybody else, I'd like you to join us upstairs for the reception. And last but not least, I'd like to thank our judges for what you've done today. I know it was hard choosing between those. And of course, our sponsor, Bob Salvin. Thank you, and I'll see you upstairs.